Good afternoon and welcome to the 2 p.m. update on Tropical Storm Laura. I just want to mention to you before we get to Laura, we want to go to Marco really quick here. And I want to show you Marco's thing here. This is Tropical Storm Marco. And I'm going to zoom out here so you can see the rain. And it's basically going to be a depression. It's weakened to 40 miles an hour. The center of circulation is somewhere there. And you can see most of the rain showers are divested or divorced from the system to the east. And that's going to be wrapping up shortly, too. This rain in the western panhandle from Pensacola to Panama City and also the Mobile Bay, this is going to be wrapping up, too, sometime tonight, probably by 8 or 9 p.m. All of this will be wrapped up, too. So, all in all, we've been blessed that Marco was a weak system. New Orleans only reported gusts to 20 miles an hour. There's no rain at all in New Orleans or even Mississippi, Gulfport, Waveland, or Biloxi. None of that. No rain. Most of the rain has been from Mobile eastward on I-10. And most of these marine warnings here are just for water spouts offshore. So most of the rain is calming down in the panhandle here, as you can see. So we're still waiting on another little batch to come in, and that's pretty much it for Tropical Storm Marco. Now, on to the main news. Tropical Storm Laura. The latest 2 p.m. advisory puts it at a 60-mile-an-hour storm. It's still moving west-northwest at 20 miles an hour. Pretty fast-moving system. And you can see it here. It has shown a little bit. It still has a poorly organized system. And even though it managed to stay off land and only make make landfall on the eastern tip of Cuba, but you can see it's still poorly organized. The inflow and outflow is not as good as yesterday, but there is some more convection happening around the center here. You can see some convection happening around. It's just by the Isle of View here. You can see some more convection happening here, but it's just not really well organized. Now, as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, there is hope that it could get better organized. I do think it will be a minimum hurricane, Cat 1, but there's some limiting factors. Let me give you the four things that's for it in terms of strengthening. Obviously, the water here is 88 degrees in the north, in the Gulf of Mexico. Obviously, warm water. There's supposed to be low wind shear, but I think there's going to be still remaining high wind shear as a result of Laura interacting with the trough to our north. That's still going to be in place that messed up Marcos. And also the upwelling. Upwelling is when one system goes over where another system already been at, same water. And so even though they're saying the water is deep on the weather channel, yes, the water is deep and warm, but that's not going to help out Laura because Laura has a poor organizational structure. So even though Laura is a bigger system than Marco, Laura, just like Marco, suffers the same fate because it's not well organized. And it will try to get its act together, but it's going to run out of time before hitting the coastline. And so, therefore, Laura, I will forecast it to become a hurricane. Yes, a 75-mile-an-hour, 80-mile-an-hour hurricane. Then it will lose strength and go back down to a tropical storm before landfall. Possibly, you're talking maybe a 60-mile-an-hour storm. Even so, all of this convection is going to be displaced again as a result of wind shear and things going on. So all the convection, thunderstorms, and all that's going to be displaced to the east or even to the southwest, just as Marco was. And so that's the thing that we have to look for. Another thing, too, I want you to look for, too, is 5 p.m. update that comes from the National Hurricane Center, or 4 p.m. Central Time, is a shift in this cone. This cone I believe, is going to be an earlier turn to the northwest. And so this cone should shift either to the east or to the west. But I don't think it's going to be like this, how they have it drawn right now. And so because of which, and I've told you my reasons, because this Bermuda high pressure is going to be eroding, and this trough that's over the southeast U.S., the same trough that messed up Marco, is going to mess up Laura too, but in a different way that's going to affect Laura. So this cone is going to have to be shifted more to the east because this northwest turn is going to happen much sooner than anticipated. And Laura is going to slow down in response to that. So by Tuesday, Wednesday, Laura should be slowing down. It shouldn't be moving at west-northwest at 20 miles an hour. It should be moving north-northwest or north-northeast at, let's say, 10 or 5 miles an hour. Okay, but that's not going to happen until later on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning when you're going to see that change in the cone and when the computer models are going to pick up and say, hey, wait a minute, this trough isn't moving anywhere and this wind shear isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay. And so that's what's going to happen. You're going to see that and you're going to be like, oh, wow. So that's what's going to happen. Laura's going to suffer the same fate as Marco, but Laura's going to remain a little bit stronger because it's a bigger circulation. So it takes time to break down from that. So Laura may actually hit as a hurricane, a category 1 hurricane, but I don't think major hurricane is in the cards for this system just because of the facts I've mentioned before. And so we should be okay. And I believe they're gonna have to go ahead and adjust this cone to the east and northeast, because I don't think it's gonna come in like that. I don't think it's going to come into this area like that. Now a lot of people are expecting the cone to be adjusted to the west, further south, like Corpus Christi. There's some models that bring it down that south, and that's possible too. But either way, wind shear is going to eat this thing up in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's gonna be a tropical storm coming in, making landfall, just like Marco, because of the same reasons. And most of the major storms are going to be displaced. Even if it comes in, let's say it comes into the west here to Corpus Christi, most of the storms are going to be displaced down to the south and southwest and into Mexico, just like we see right here. So either way it goes, we're not looking at it something very strong here. Like I said, a mid-grade tropical storm is what I'm forecasting. 70-mile-an-hour winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds coming in, just like Marco, with a displaced, sheared appearance to it. And that's what we should expect. Now, later on this year, we will get some major hurricanes and big ones that are going to be coming in. They just have to wait and see to see which ones are going to be making landfall or not, because the peak of the hurricane season is not until mid-September through mid-October, and we're just now there, not quite there yet. So stay tuned for that. And but that's our 2 p.m. update. Leave any questions, comments below, and I'll be sure to get back with you as soon as possible. Have a great afternoon, guys.